Hi, I'm back with another process video. This time I'm going to be using this, or some of this Lucky Charm paper. I did pull out another paper from another Dear Lizzie paper pack. I can't recall which one it is, but here are the things I want to use or thinking about using. All good things are wild and free. If I don't use this one, then I'll use this smaller one. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. It is still pretty big. It's larger than a 6x6. I did pull out this paper pack. I think it's from the Daydreamer, and I think so is this other paper right here. Not the heart one. This plus sign one, or crosses or whatever. I think they're both from the same line. So that's part of it. This is from Studio Calico 6x6 page, and I want to cut out some of these pieces, cut apart pieces. These are from that same Daydreamer collection. It says Dreamy Day and You Make My Heart Sing. I found this piece also. And then these are from Lucky Charm. So I want to use those. And I'm going to use this photo of my nephew. Excuse me. I'm going to use this photo of my nephew. I've been using, I printed a whole bunch of photos in 8x10 form. And I've just been cutting them down, but mostly leaving them that big. So I'm going to use that. And I pulled out, this is from Michael's, and then these are embellishments from the Lucky Charm collection. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I am using this basic gray pattern paper, and I just turned it around so I can use the white part. I cut it a little bit larger than I needed to because I'm always getting, you can see the pattern paper in the back, but I'm always getting the edges wrong. So I think it's just better to error in the side of caution. Is that how the saying goes? I'm not sure. Anyway, I did try to use this title, and at this point I am still kind of trying to space out where the title is going to go. And I think I'm going to use the plus sign paper, and I end up changing my mind. I feel like the picture is taken in the shade, and so it lends itself to a lot of blue tones. If you hear my son, he's playing in the loft. I traded one of their bedrooms for the loft area, or my scrapbook area was in the loft, and we moved my kids together. They wanted to be roommates, and then so we put them together, and I ended up switched my scrapbook area that was in the loft into one of the bedrooms. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I figured then, or right now, as you're looking at this, I'm trying to pick out a paper for this picture because I wanted it to have a little more warmth. It was, because of the blues, it was lending itself more to a cooler tone in the photograph, and I don't want that. And since this had toadstools in the picture, on the foreground it has toadstools, I figured that I could use the mushrooms and kind of let it lend itself to the same type of thing. I also ended up using these Forest Friends. These two papers, by the way, are from the green stack from Die Cuts with a View, and it's a very old stack. It's probably one of the first ones that I used, and yeah, so here I'm using this double embossed scallop punch from EK Success, and I'm cutting this blue polka dot Dear Lizzie paper to put on both ends of that squirrel and beaver and chipmunk or whatever, owl pattern paper. I wanted some distinction between the two pattern papers, and since they're kind of brown and beigey, I wanted a pop of color to kind of give the distinction between those two very busy patterns. So as you can see here, I put this red camera embellishment that was a 4x6 Project Life card that I just cut out, and I also did the big circle to the top left hand of the layout on top of the photo. I realized quickly that I needed something else to kind of balance it on the same side, on the opposite side. So I cut out a yellow circle instead of the red camera. Even though it was okay, I felt like it was overwhelming and I didn't want it to take away too much from the photograph. And so circles are kind of, to me, they looked not calming, but they didn't attract too much attention to themselves. Even though they are a element that your eye will gravitate to, they aren't, they're kind of unassuming. So they're kind of calmer than the big red camera element was. And so I don't know if you can see here, I pointed out with my finger in a little bit after I taped down this background paper. You can see there I'm pointing to a hole in the picture because I cut out one of those little animals. And so that kind of predictates where I'm either going to overlap my photo or I'm going to overlap one of my design elements from the layout. So, you know, the scrapbook paper is either going to do that for you where it screams to be fussy cut or use it as a border or a mat. Well, the same goes for my hole in the paper. Anyway, so I put the other circle there to try and cover it, but then I'm also pointing out here that that pattern leftover piece of pattern paper is bothering me, and so I decided to use another piece of pattern paper, scrap piece of pattern paper from the same green stack from DC Cuts WV with a view. I always say it wrong. And so I'm using it, like I said, I used another piece of paper and I cut it into a double banner shape, fishtailed it, and then I put this other little saying that says, let's go and be adventurers, or something to that effect. I ended up cutting another camera from another Project Life card, 3x4 card this time, because I don't do Project Life, but I do like the collections and the colors and the elements, and so I try to incorporate them to as many layouts, or, you know, I cut out elements or I use them for notes or journaling, whatever, as I can. I pulled out these letter stickers from Simple Stories, and here I'm just outlining the letter sticker so that it'll pop out a little bit more. It says today, and I'm using a Sharpie water-based marker. These don't work all that well, or they're a little bit frustrating in the fact that you have to push down on the point that you write with so that the paint will come out. It'll seep out, and sometimes it does it a little too much. So you have to be careful, or you have to be okay with the way that the paint flows on them. So I felt like the bottom of the layout was a little bit empty, and I don't know how much journaling my niece will make, if anything. So I tend to make these layouts with the idea of either having hidden journaling or having a little bit of space for my niece to go in and write something, or that it'll still look okay if she doesn't. And so my idea of a journaling spot was that yellow circle with the heart pattern paper. And so I'm adding the date here, and those are my final touches. I also add in glossy accents to the little hearts at the bottom and the today word as well. So here are some close-ups of the pictures. Please give this a like. Hit that like button if you liked the layout. If you haven't subscribed to me already, click that red button and leave me any questions or comments down below if you have any. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!